My name is Nikola. I come from Serbia. It's a former Yugoslavian republic. I don't know if many of you know that, but I'm currently studying law, international law major. I'm a co-founder and currently the president of NGO Uber Group that focuses on informal education. We think that formal education is not enough that every student gets, so the formal education does not prepare them for what lays ahead after graduating. So we're giving lectures in soft skills like presentation skills and public skills, how to write a CV, motivational letter, etc., etc. So because we think that's really important in order to continue your professional life.
Don't you find that a little bit funny that we separate between formal and informal education, and what people learn in the so-called informal education is at least as important, and we call it kind of informal?
Yeah, the recent move among the companies is that they're no longer requiring for you to have a diploma of any degrees in order to work somewhere. If you already have an experience, prior experience, that's like extensive, I mean, you never know what, how someone's life was. If someone could not go to school and have a decent diploma, a requiring diploma, and he could just work, I guess that's fair enough to have a spot in the company as well as someone who went to school because he had the money or what other situation was. But the thing is that informal education exists because formal education does not give you enough. That's why.
So that's the failure of the formal
that's actually the failure.
System. So would you like to comment on that? Can we change the educational system to some degree or some way that we will not need, that people will need another educational system?
Yeah, I can elaborate on this subject considering Serbian educational system, because the educational system is really old and nothing much has really changed since 20 years ago. We have updated information, but the system and how we learn and how we study has not changed. Especially the technology that we got in the last 20 years. We have switched from a computer that has like 2 megabytes of memory and it can be fit in this room, to an iPhone that can have like 128 gigabytes of memory, which can have a lot of lectures that you can learn on your way home. So with technology, we can make the education more mobile than it is right now. And that's something that needs to be changed. But the government is not really changing anything because we don't have enough participation of everyone that's being affected by that state. So we need more cooperation, more massive engagement by the students, by the people that are affected by that state, in order to make a change. But that's not happening because there's not a suitable platform. Social networks are good, but they're mostly for fun. They're not being used for business. And we need to do big business in order to make a big change.
Do you think it is more important to change the system of government and maybe the democratic process, or to start with changing the educational system in a way that people feel the urge to participate?
Well, it is being said that every journey is started with the first step. Even though 100-mile journey, there's all the time it's a single step that starts. So I think to tackle this problem, we need to take small steps in order to go to bigger ones. We need to engage one person in order to engage another 100. So changing the educational system, I think it's more prone to be happening than actually changing the government. Democracy is something that's more of a thought than actually happening. The only true democracy was in Greek time, in ancient Greek time, which was like 2 millennia ago. Nothing else can compare today. Maybe Switzerland, but still that's not democracy. But we can always strive for democracy. We don't need to say, okay, democracy is not possible today, but we can always want to have a democracy, and that makes a bigger change. So that's what we need to do.
Is it better for you to have free education or open universities?
Could you elaborate more on open universities?
university open to anyone that that can give you their sources, that can give you books, that can give you their programs, that can give you their syllabus.
Yeah. In order to have open universities, what do you need actually? You need to have a lot of money. In order to have a lot of money, you need to have a good tax collection system. In order to have a good tax collecting system, you need to have no corruption. In order to have no corruption, you would have to have democracy. So everything goes back to the same old problem about democracy. But regarding education, my personal opinion is following. I need that education should be free, and every university should be open, because not every university is specialized and good at certain areas. I mean, if I want to be the best lawyer ever, I would like to go to Harvard. But in order to go to Harvard, I would need to have a lot of cash, and I don't have a lot of cash. Being a foreign citizen, I cannot apply for any loans from the American banks. And being a citizen of Serbia, they're not going to be giving me like $256,000 for 1 year of school. But I could be the best of the best if I finish that school. So that's the biggest problem. People do not have money, and we need free education.
You are not responding. I asked you, if you want to choose, you choose free education or open universities.
Regarding that question, I would say that open universities are part of free education. I don't know how it is in your countries, but in Serbia, it is obligatory to go to primary school. And secondary school, I mean, they're changing the law at this very moment that secondary school should be obligatory as well. But it's free. I mean, primary education and secondary education is free. But in order to have like a free higher education, which is university, college, whatever, you need to have, to meet a certain criteria. But not many can meet that criteria because they didn't have money to go to a fancy high school. They didn't have money to go to an extra classes because something wasn't clear. They didn't have good professors. I don't know if you heard about neuro-linguistic programming, but that's really important. Professors need to know about NLP in order to approach a student as well. I mean, just reflecting your own experience, you've had like 1 or 2 professors throughout your whole education that were really good. And why was that? Because they loved teaching. I mean, the other 98% of professors did not like teaching, and they did not know how to teach. So what's the problem? The problem is we need to educate the educators. But that's, I mean, always coming back to the same old problem, which is the power of people and the decision being made by them, which is marketing.
The extra skills, it's for everyone good, but people have diversity, they're different. And do you do consulting conversations also in your organization, or you have certain courses or skills that you teach? Because some people they are not so good in social life, and I think they don't have to. For if they go, it's not doesn't meeting they doesn't need such as social skills.
Regarding my NGO, the thing is that a few of us have gathered and we wanted to make a change. But what brought me there is actually that the base idea of why we founded an organization. We wanted people who are part of the organization to develop themselves through developing the organization. So in order for me to be consulting anyone, I would have studied, learned, taken a course, taken an advice, whatever, just to have the sufficient knowledge in order to help someone else. So that's basically what Uber Group is doing. And the thing is, yeah, we offer free education. Going back to that question, and we are trying to be pioneers in that new era of using technology and giving free education. Once we had a webinar which is also using a technology. For one training, it was about communication skills. We only had 30 spots to fill in. We had like 150 applicants that wanted to go to that training that lasted like 3 hours. I wasn't the one who held the training, but I was amazed by the response of the students, or not even students. I mean, we had a woman that was 40 years old that applied to be a part of Uber because we had an awesome idea. So a webinar was a good choice because we could have engaged a lot more people than just 30 who could actually sit in the room.
Also consulting, like you have to advance this skill or other skill.
I don't think my coworkers would do it, but I would definitely do it because I started with the idea that I love people, and when you love someone and when you love everyone, you can do whatever you want. And the first thing that I want to do is help anyone. So yeah, consulting 101, psychological, or just talking about something. That's what I love doing, and that's what I'm going to do.
Do you think that volunteers can change the world?
Yes. My social activism has started in 2010. I was a part of the youth office in my local town, and we did a bunch of things. We didn't have any NGOs because I come from a small city near Belgrade, and youth office is actually a governmental office. We actually didn't have a ministry for youth. We had it like only 7 years, and there was a big action that in one day we all called the ministries, the government, so they were blocked for an entire day because they didn't want to listen to us, and they didn't want to make a ministry for the youth because no one was caring about the youth. So we blocked the entire country for one day, and then the next day we got invited by the government to talk about the conditions of making a new ministry. So that's how in 2006 we made the Ministry of Youth and Sports. But still, I mean, that was one of the actions. Still, currently we're working on a youth initiative that we need to form a youth politics throughout the Serbia and make all the NGOs under one roof, make an alliance. Someone mentioned alliance. I mean, I was the one giving the answer to alliance as how NGOs can work together and make a change. But volunteering, volunteering is not free. You have to know that nothing in the world is free. It's either giving money or giving your time. But I think that the most valuable thing you can give to anyone is time, because you can get the money back. The money can be stolen, but if you give someone your time, that's like priceless. It's not ever getting back.
What was your ideas about challenges that we have in our current system of governance?
The thing I would emphasize, as I said in the ideas, is that we need a better system that would make better collaboration between citizens, like a massive organization. Because if I want to make a change, and maybe Johnny wants to make a change, but maybe Nikitas does not want to make a change, how me and Johnny connect with all the other people that want to make a change, and so we can be better, bigger, that actually the group that actually can make a change. So people are not connected well, and that's why we need a platform or some sort of social media, etc., in order to connect all of us so we can make a change.
Wait, you are talking about a different social media than Facebook or the ones we have now. Can you imagine of some characteristics that this social media should have in order to support people to get together?
Yes. First, the digression about that. Well, I'm leading an organization, and we do not communicate through Facebook. The first reason why we do not communicate through Facebook is because Facebook has a connotation of fun. Because anyone who goes to Facebook, he expects to have a leisure time, relax, etc. So we're using Slack. I don't know if anyone's using Slack. That's like a professional network. You just need to type whatever you need for work, and then you can go to Facebook. But first you need to finish your work. So I would combine something like Slack with business integrity and good collaboration with the Facebook, which is massive. I think Facebook currently has like 1.5 billion users, which is amazing. That's like one sixth of the world. I mean, you have connected like 1/6 of the world. And as I mentioned prior in this day, today, in Serbia, to change the constitution, you need 150,000 people. That has never happened in the entire Serbian history, and that dates back to the 7th century of this millennia. Yeah, right. So we need to. We don't need to make something. I mean, invent something. We can just combine the existing technologies and the existing idea to make a better platform that can engage a lot of people. But still, even though it's democracy and everyone's choosing, we need to have a leader who's going to lead all that. Because if I'm giving my opinion and my time, I would need to know that my time is being used well. So it's a tricky question, but that's about, I mean, inventing the platform that would suit the needs.
How do you organize non-formal education in Nigeria?
A few of us who are actually coaches, we have a prior education. When I got to university, I was a part of ELSA, which is European Law Students Association, which is a European organization. We have a branch in Serbia. Actually, the branch is in Belgrade. And throughout that experience, I've learned a lot of things about organizing trainings and how it is important for people to get together. And when they get together, they need to have the knowledge. So that was my experience. Other people that have co-founded the organization with me, that are also trainers, have a previous ISEC experience, which is great. I mean, all of us came from a different background, but we combined all the goods from every organization that we came from. And that got us to having every week or every other week a free training for anyone who wants to apply. I mean, come, and the feedback is really good. We have been founded since the March of last year, and we're expanding. There's a lot of I mean, the influence of Uber Group in Serbia is, I mean, spreading. So I can make my ideas for projects of building a better society are more possible to be made than a year before.